Welcome back everyone to Muscovy. And I'm sorry for my lack of progress here. I haven't brought out an episode for this in quite a while, but I had to do some other stuff. In case you want to, for some reason, are subscribed to my channel for EU4. That's interesting. For some reason, you are subscribed to my channel for EU4. I also have another sort of half series going, playing as Bologna. This little piece of garbage. And that's been going up in big chunks because they're stream VODs. Anyway, if for some reason you didn't know about that, now you know. And let's get right back into this. It's been I think, week since I've played this, so just trying to get back into things. Looks like we have... Okay, so Novgorod is recovering from the plague, which is good. Gonna give us some more trade income, hopefully. So far, we are indeed making a lot from trade. In fact, we are making the most from trade. How could we best use our merchant? That is the question. We sent him to Novgorod to collect the trade there, and that's a good idea because we have most likely most of the trade node. Yes, we do. And it isn't our capital node, so we're not collecting in it. Here we're making .54, and here we're collecting 1.69 ducats. Very good. So the trade from Novgorod is going to make us rich. And we also have a lot of production. So that's nice. Production, I'm guessing, mostly from the Lenin. We have an economic map mode. So, economic map modes. Trade population, buildings, manpower, trade goods. Oh, the burghers. Oh. So the burghers came to power in Moskva. And they have kicked out the greater nobles. So now Moskva is officially under the control of the bourgeoisie. I am guessing that this is partially because of my university, partially because of the local wealth, and also possibly because of the local infrastructure and trade. Well, also maybe because it's an art and intellectual center, and this is not something that happened historically in Russia, especially not before. Building in there. Oh, so we get some more Renaissance architecture, this time in Novgorod. Can we make use of that? Probably not. We still have a lot of money problems. And the lesser nobles are now loyal. Good. I was about to say, the bourgeoisie in Russia never really took on a great role like they did in the West. In the West, we know, of course, that, especially in Italy, but then in France and England, and of course in Germany as well, an urban class of, merchants, traders, bankers became very prominent around the 14th, 15th, 16th century. In France, we're talking 17th century as well. Oh, Burgundy declared war upon France. That's very useful to know. It's an interesting war. I wonder for what it is. Burgundian conquest of Champagne. Okay, or Champagne. So just a conquest. Okay. And this is, I think, about the time that Burgundy really became a big power in Europe. Who's your leader? Is he someone historic? Philip II of Burgundy. Too many Philip IIs. I don't like Philip IIs. There's just way too many of them. Too easy to confuse. Anyway, yes. So that kind of became a problem for Russia later on. And it looks like Poland's fighting here. Oh, they're fighting the White Horde. That's very interesting. So the White Horde is fighting the Polish humiliation of the White Horde, and I think this is a good time to go in and fight the White Horde. Our heir is actually at 24 years of age, so if Donskoy dies, then the heir can take over. Let's make Donskoy a general. Oh, he has no shock. He has a lot of fire. But him having no shock, I think, makes him worse than Bodisko. Which isn't a Russian name. I don't know how you got that nickname. Just gonna call him a nickname. That's a weird name. Anyway, let's pay our army. We shall declare war for Donetsk, actually. Because look at that, 16 population. That is a lot of population. That is much more than Gornie. Of course, Gornie is what we have the mission for? No, we have the mission to claim Tambov. Ooh, how much will we need for that? 50. So let's actually wait first until Tambov is claimed. We might be able to... Yeah, we can get some prestige. That will give us some morale of armies. It's increasing by 1 every month. We might just have to take it now. Might just have to take the chance to go and fight the White Horde while they have enemies. Or we could fight Lithuania. No, I don't think that would be a good idea. Biela Ozera. Now this would of course kind of mirror what happened historically with the war between Donskoy and the White Horde. Well, the Golden Horde. Except, well, what really happened was that the Golden Horde had some internal problems. There were various different Khans that were fighting for control. One of them was Mamai, and he was the one in charge of this area about. And his territory was around here. What happened was there was a bit of a dispute over Ryazan, I believe. Some territory with Ryazan. A corrupt ambassador. Really now. I don't like corrupt ambassadors. Anyway, yeah, I think I really need to go in and take them out. Smolensk is sieging Donetsk. So how many troops do the White Horde have? The White Horde. They still have 11,000 with 23k manpower left. We are running very low on manpower actually. So for now we'll keep quiet. We'll see how the things develop. And that's Fyodorov fighting. So that's the White Horde's army. A few cavalry and a lot of infantry. Now at this point, of course, it was actually in 1380. So there was a bit of a dispute over Ryazan. Some territory around there. And the White Horde, or I guess the Khan in question, Mamai, backed Ryazan, which was unusual because, as I said, usually they backed Moscow because it was the Grand Principality. They've been loyal to each other for a long time, etc., etc. And so apparently Scandinavia is using some privateers to hunt down our trade. This could be a problem. We might need to build a fleet. We have 6 ships as a limit. For now we shall wait. We need the extra cash to deal with land issues, I think. Yeah. In the meantime though, I'm gonna build a second cannon. Because we can afford it with the force limit that we have right now, because a lot of provinces have been cored right now. So our territory is consolidating, and we can make Ryazan a state. Let's do that. And let's core all the provinces. That should also improve the force limit. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, and then what happened was Dmitry, the Grand Prince of Moscow, backed down. Well, didn't back down, which was what the White Horde kind of expected to happen. And then gathered up a bunch of forces. We don't really know how many though, because the thing is, also my spy got discovered, of course. Because the thing is, sources around the time weren't really reliable. Especially sources that belonged to one side or the other, and that was the only thing available. Thanks for the visibility. That was the only thing available for the battle that eventually became to be known as the Battle of Kulikovo Field, around here, at the sort of, yeah, around the beginning of the Course of the Dawn, around this area. So we think it was around 30,000 Russians against a similar amount of Mongols. Of course, Russian sources of the time say 100,000 Russians versus 250,000 Mongols, which is absolutely not possible, but, you know, that's what we technically are supposed to believe. And of course, a lot of the times, figures like these are exaggerated to make achievements of rulers seem more important. And also, of course, because... Give me that royal marriage. Because they wanted to make, of course, the ruler seem more glorious, the battle more important, etc., etc. But, yeah, what we know is that if essentially the White Horde hired Genoese mercenaries from here, from Kaffa, and then had their own traditional forces, but because of all the infighting that had been happening around the Golden Horde's sort of titles, who would be Khan, etc., etc., the actual Khan that ended up fighting in the battle, Mamai, was one of the weaker ones in the succession crises. So the Russians ended up winning eventually, which was the first time the Russians ever win against the Mongols in a straight-up fight, which is, of course, very good. And one interesting thing is the fact that, in fact, a lot of... I don't want inflation. A lot of princes from this area of Russia, under the nominal control of Lithuania, end up joining Dmitry Donskoy in this campaign. So it was kind of an early unification of Russia against the foreign enemy for pretty much the first time. And Bohemia declared war on Poland. Well, I think I need to jump on Lithuania. You're still loyal to Lithuania, so you're gonna get attacked. I'm pretty sure I need to jump on Lithuania at this point, just to prevent other people from jumping on them. Because right now, Lithuania and Poland are getting attacked from multiple enemies. They have Hungary on their side, however. If I were to declare war on Poland... Oh, I cannot. I can declare war, however, on Smolensk, for Russian unification. They would call in Lithuania, and Lithuania would call in their own allies. Would be Poland, and their junior partner of Poland, which probably means that Poland would again get to call in his own allies. Well, of course, Mazovia, Halich, or Galicia, Danzig, and Hungary. I really do not want to fight Hungary, but I think I'll have to. Anyway, so what ends up happening is the Russians win, and then another Khan, the one who ends up winning the succession war in the Golden Horde, because Mamai, the guy who lost the battle, ends up, I think, running away to Crimea and getting assassinated, something like that. What ends up happening is Toktamich, I believe his name is, takes over, and the Muscovites at this point had stopped sending tribute, of course. They had kind of, quote-unquote, declared independence. He marches on Moscow, sacks Moscow, and just ends up getting away with the loot. Forces the Muscovites back into nominal submission to the Golden Horde, and then just continues fighting them sporadically, but nothing too major. And until 1480, but pretty much, Moscow still technically is a vassal state of the Golden Horde. So, the lesson there is, as much as of a big propaganda victory that the Battle of Kulikovo Field was, the Mongols really could never reclaim their previous hold on Russian territory. But at the same time, Russia wasn't really ready to be united under a Russian state. And now we're about to try to do that to Lithuania. Now, there were also wars with Lithuania, but they would come later. Oh, bad harvest. Food riots. I think I'll just quell the rebellion. It's just a rebellion. I thought it would be famine, but hey, if it's not famine, it's fine. That's a lot of rural population, actually, in Varatinsk. We can also make states. We can make Tviera state. Very good. Let's call all the provinces. And I think we ran out of states. So, Bielo Ozero, which was the only other, I believe, state that isn't a state, only a territory. That's gonna have to wait. So it seems like Poland is actually beating the White Horde. And they're relying on Hungary to fight Bohemia. Still pretty... Oh, never mind. Still pretty strange what's happening right now in Central Europe. So the situation's kind of murky. Still do not know what's going to happen. Can we try to annex any of our vassals? I remember that we were close to a capitulation. Oh yeah, we can annex Rostov. Very good. So we integrate Rostov. Part of a glorious realm now. And we can permit a small monastery because sometimes they form little towns around monasteries, so they increase urban gravity. So I'll try to get some towns up and running. Because urbanization definitely is going to be important to achieve our goals. So all the other vassals are still going to be a little bit off. We're also trying to get... oh yeah, right. That's why. I'll repeal that. Because I want one more diplomat. I can try to revoke some privileges in the meantime. Demand support, can't demand any support. This will probably make them very angry. But repeal moderate expansion of local autonomy. Or maybe the manpower. Now I'll do the local autonomy because that will improve both manpower and income. I cannot do anything with the greater nobles, and I cannot demand any other support. They do have some troops in reserve, however. What about the bourgeoisie, who shouldn't exist at this point in Russia? Send domestic. Okay, so we can get those things, but oh, look at that. They have a lot of income. So soon enough, they'll start building buildings for us, I think. And that's just favors. We can't do anything about that. Okay. Still cannot form the Russian nation, of course. Do we have the force limit? Yes, we do. So I guess the regiment here is fine. A Catholic church for Ostrov. Or Ostrov. Let's allow it. Even though, as I've probably touched upon a few times, they grudgingly... Oh, good. We didn't even lose the stability. Very lucky. Foreign missionaries. Scandinavia. We could just kill them. Or we could ignore their trespassing. Or we could send our own missionary. Let's send our own missionary to counter their presence. Anyway, yes, so there was a lot of course, hostility between, well, the Russian Orthodox establishment and Catholicism. Catholicism really didn't get a good rep in Russia. And around this time, there was also kind of an interesting experiment. It would be about, I think, 30 years from now, which was the Council of Florence, the union between the two churches. That was, of course, very, very heavily rejected in Russia. We might get the chance to talk a little bit more about it later. And yeah, you're still at war with both of those enemies. Both of those very powerful enemies. So, how many people are you exactly at war with? So, Bohemia and all its vassals. And then the White Horde and all its vassals. White Horde is definitely winning. In the meantime, we're just continuing to make money from allowing different buildings to sprout up in our provinces. And oh, looks like the Emperor died right in the middle of the war. So new Emperor for Bohemia. And yeah, despite the fact that Poland seems to be winning, it is in fact the White Horde which is winning. Let's try to rebuild the spy network. I think it is because they declared war on a humiliation casus belli, which would, I think, mean that they need to take the capital. Yeah, they need to take Sarai, which was the Golden Horde's capital. And Sarai is way over here? Where is Sarai? Oh, it looks like our education level changed. Substandard. Not sure if that changed for the better or for the worse. I think for the better. I don't even remember what our education level was. The court. Education. Oh, yeah, it improved. Good. Yes, Sarai. Where's that? Oh, yeah, okay. Right. So on the Volga. In a pretty good spot to control the entire river. And yeah. So Poland will pay money to the White Horde, of course. So Poland paid tribute to the White Horde, and the White Horde is going to be going back. They have a 6 maneuver general, which is interesting. We don't really have a chance to... Oh. Wait. It says that they only have 5,000. They clearly saw 11,000 marching through. You're still allied with me. You're still at truce with me. That's going to end in a couple of years, though. And then we're going to be able to attack you. We could just attack Novgorod. Oh, the independence is guaranteed by Scandinavia. Really now? That is not what we wanted. We wanted to take all of this land for free, even though it's very pathetic land. And yeah, I would really like to support your independence, but you're loyal towards Lithuania. Which is historically accurate. I mean, all the princes that were ethnically Russian, to use a modern term, in Lithuania, which was a multinational state, by the way, at this point, because yeah, you may be thinking, how did Lithuania get so big? Well, of course, there's not only Lithuanians in Lithuania. There's also Ruthenians, White Russians coming in around the area of Minsk, what we now refer to as Belarusians, or I think back then they were called minor Russians, Maloruskie, something like that. I don't know. Air falls ill. Send for a medic. Okay, he lives. Good. And then, of course, there were Russians in the east. And, well, later, of course, the Russians became reabsorbed back into Moscow. And from that division, from that border, stems the division between Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians. Belarusians and Ukrainians being on the other side of the fence. These princes were granted a whole lot of autonomy, so they did like their Lithuanian overlords, as opposed to Muscovy, which, on the other hand, was very much about that centralized control, which allowed it to succeed quite as much as it did. Inns of Court. Okay. I think we can take that tech. We can also take warships. We should build some ships just to be safe with our trade. We're still making a lot of money. And now we are making even more in taxation because the anger subsided for the nobles, and also because more territories have been cored by us. I wonder if we can do something about this province. I wanted to expand the bureaucracy because I've never really been able to use that mechanic, but I guess it's not going to happen because I need to use the upgrade roads or upgrade forts to do that. Okay, so England's going in again for the French throne. Of course, not the best idea probably. In the meantime, Poland is still getting sliced and diced by Bohemia. So how many troops do Lithuania actually have? Lithuania. They still have 9,000 and 12,000 manpower, and Poland likely has a similar amount, or maybe less, because they've been taking a bigger beating. Yeah, indeed. They only have 2,000. Smolensk. How many does Smolensk have? Smolensk, I do not see you. Here, 0. Okay. So, I could just march into Smolensk, Smolenskaya Zemlya, and take it over. Like that. And then just sit on it. Wait for the Lithuanians to come. It is an interesting thought. And I think I should do it. Because I am pretty much at a point where I have a lot of money in my treasury. Wars are expensive. If I want to go to war, now is as good a time as any, pretty much. How many points of army tradition do we have? 24, so we can't probably get a better general than ICA here. Let's wait until the army is ready and go in. So, the wars between Muscovy and Lithuania around this time were mostly something that happened after the unification of Muscovy into Russia. Let's declare war. Nizhny Novgorod will not be following us into war, which is not the best possible thing. Why? Oh, because you're threatened, right. That seems strange. Wouldn't you be more willing to join my wars if you were threatened by me, because you'd be afraid of the consequences? I do not know. Let's have the war goal be to take Smolenskaya Zemlya. Yep. So Poland calls in a lot of people. Not Hungary though. That is the one that I want to know about. Let's reduce the speed a little bit just to be safe. So we of course take the Poles out in Smolenskaya Zemlya quite easily. Let's pull our feudal heavy cav. Oh, they have Bryansk on their side. That would be a, I think, good opportunity to get Bryansk to follow us. And oh, we also got disease outbreak really hard, which isn't good. Let's pull in some support from our estates. Bourgeoisie can give us some financial support, which isn't very costly in terms of loyalty. Greater nobles can give us some troops. Oh, they're disloyal. Not good. And the lesser nobles... Oh, we just milked them a little bit too hard earlier. We took out their privileges, and of course they're not happy about that. Our army in the meantime is taking huge damage from the siege, but oh well. Okay, so we took Rajev. Let's take Taropetsky as well. Does it have a fort? No, it doesn't. Very good. Move over to Raslavsky. So I'm just going to be content with sitting here, sieging down some forts, and trying to win the war with as little, in terms of actual pitched battles, as possible, which is kind of the way that wars were fought at this point in time of history. Mostly because sieges were a little bit safer. Oh. So Bohemia is not the emperor anymore. That's actually really bad. So the Bohemian heir died, and now there's a regency, and so that means that Bohemia is not the emperor anymore, which is most likely going to reduce their power a lot, and that means that most likely Poland will more easily be able to destroy them and then come back and try to fight us.